Someday, in the not-so-distant future, it happens. The moment you realize you're ready for anything. Get a degree in emergency management from Jacksonville State University and be ready for where you're going.
This is your Weather Xtreme video for March 28th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, sitting in for James Spann this morning. There's a look at the Trussville Skycam, and the roads are wet out there this morning. And also, as we look up at Fayette, the road's still a little shiny, but most of the rain has moved out of the Fayette area and is now located generally along and south of Interstate 20 for the most part. The surface map this morning shows a cold front approaching us through the central Mississippi River Valley, and we're getting showers out ahead of that front and a good deal of rain. Some areas getting over 2 inches of rain overnight. I know at my house I had about 1 3/4 inches, so just under that 2-inch amount. In the upper atmosphere at 500 millibars, roughly about 18 to 20,000 feet, we see that we have one little shortwave trough that's moving through the Mississippi River Valley today, but we have another trough back out over the southern Rockies that will be moving our way and providing us with round 2 of weather tonight, and that weather could be strong to severe with a few thunderstorms, damaging wind and hail the biggest threat, but isolated tornadoes can't be ruled out completely. Temperatures across the southeastern U.S. relatively mild despite the rain, with temperatures generally in the 50s and 60s. In central Alabama, we see that most spots coming in around the upper 50s for most locations. A few spots probably dipping into the lower 50s. Regional radar showing this round 1 of this rain event as it continues to move slowly east and southeast. And while I think we'll be mostly dry this afternoon, we can't rule out the possibility of some scattered showers developing. Rainfall over the next 5 days, not counting what's fallen so far this morning, is expected to be on the order of 1 to 2 inches across much of central Alabama. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a large slight risk area for severe thunderstorm possibilities extending from the eastern part of Texas across all of Louisiana, a good portion of Arkansas, all of Mississippi, and about the western third or so of the state of Alabama. We'll try to look into some of those specific parameters in just a few minutes. All right, here's the 06Z GFS model run, and this is the map, surface map for today at midday, about 1 p.m. And you can see that we do have the cold front that's more or less dragging into the area, kind of pushing the rain a little bit to the east and southeast. But in the upper atmosphere, the big thing that we're watching is this shortwave trough that's coming out of the southern Rockies. And as that trough comes out of the Rockies tonight and tomorrow, it's likely to strengthen, intensify, deepen just a bit as it comes across the Mississippi River. So that will be helping to enhance lift across the area. And we will see the development of a surface low, and that surface low should move fairly quickly across North Alabama and up into the area of the central Appalachians in the vicinity of West Virginia. Now let's take a look at some of the severe weather parameters. Here's the Cape values at 7 p.m. this evening, and you can see that the greatest instability is over basically, say, the vicinity of southern Louisiana. If we go out in time just a few hours, this is about 12Z in the morning or 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. And you can see that the Cape values are down considerably as the atmosphere stabilizes a little bit. Looking at the sounding is got a lot of moisture in it. We typically like to see moisture down low with a drying area aloft, but there's a lot of moisture all the way up in this particular sounding. So it looks like we may have a little too much moisture. And also looking at some other values, this is a look at the helicity values. Those are the ones in black with the dashed red. And values for helicity, or the amount of shear, are sufficient. This is by about 10 p.m. Tonight. And so the helicity values, they're sufficient. They're not particularly large. And then by the time we reach Saturday morning, around about 3 a.m. or so, 4 a.m., this being a different model, this is the SREF model from the SPC. So it looks like this is a somewhat marginal situation for us. It does appear that the Storm Prediction Center's outlook area is probably pretty good, with much of the threat to our west, but we'll certainly have to be watching that. Now, getting back out into modeling, the trough moves off the mid-Atlantic states on Sunday. And so we come under a ridge at that point, and so that should take all of the weather out to our east as we cool just a little bit, with surface high settling in over the southern Mississippi River Valley. Looking at the upper air pattern on Monday, we see that we're under a ridge, and that ridge is fairly strong too, because on Tuesday we see that the ridge is holding and much of the westerlies are staying well to our north. So while it will drag some fronts down into the central U.S., it doesn't look like anything will actually make it down our way due to the upper flow. By Wednesday, we are watching now again the development of another fairly significant trough in the upper atmosphere over the southern Rockies. And while that will certainly see a front dragged into our area, it looks like probably through midweek we'll stay dry, with temperatures generally in the 70s, so it's certainly a nice week ahead. But the trough intensifies on Thursday. This is midday on Thursday, and as it does, we'll see once again the development of a surface low pressure that will be moving across. It looks like a little further north than the one we're currently dealing with. It looks like it'll be more in the central Mississippi River Valley. And so that moves on by, and we see that trough move on across the Ohio River Valley on Friday, a week from today. And, of course, we see a much stronger surface low by then into the eastern Great Lakes. So it looks like we could see another round of potentially severe weather threat with this particular system. But we've got to get by system number one first. Looking out into voodoo country before we close here, we see that we do have another system around the 7th that's in the southern Rockies, and that system moves out and becomes a really deep surface, upper low over the northeastern United States. And that, if this pattern becomes true, then the GFS is certainly suggesting that we could see another winter storm event for the northeastern U.S. and the mid-Atlantic states. But remember, this is voodoo country, so we'll have to wait and see how that shapes up. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. I expect to have the next full Weather Xtreme video posted on Saturday morning. In the meantime, stay tuned to the blog for the latest on this evolving and developing weather situation. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.